Hello again. As you know, I'm Eli the Computer Guy over here for EliTheComputerGuy.com and EverymanIT.com. Today's class is using synchronization software to easily move files and folders. Now, if you have not been out in the real world, if you have not been out in a production environment where you have to move a lot of data day in and day out, you may not realize what a complete and utter pain in the ass it can be to move files and folders around. If you're doing things like data recovery, say somebody's computer died, so you need to move their important profile information from one computer to another computer, it can be horrible. If you're trying to migrate data between servers, so you're taking one file server offline and bringing another one online, it can be absolutely horrible, especially in the Windows world. The reason is because in the Windows world, and I don't understand why, but even now in 2012, if you would do a copy-paste command or a cut and paste command, Windows will start moving all the files up until the point it runs into a problem. And as soon as it runs into a problem, whether it's a corrupted file, a protected file, for some reason it cannot move a file, it simply cancels the entire process out. So you may be in the middle of moving thousands and thousands of files, and then Windows will just stop. The big problem is, especially if you're trying to do a copy command, is that you don't really know where Windows stopped copying the files. You don't know if it stopped copying the files 110 files in or 1010 files in. You're kind of just stuck. Windows just throws up its hands and says it's done. So synchronization software allows you to easily move files and folders from place to place, and you don't have to worry about the software giving up in the middle of the process. So if it runs across a problem, it will ask you what to do, and then it will continue copying. So you don't have to worry about the file transfer process stopping somewhere in the middle, and now you don't know what the hell to do next. So this class, using synchronization software to easily move files and folders, is going to go over how you use the synchronization software, and we'll do a demonstration just so you get the idea of what's going on. This may sound like a completely dumb and simple class, but believe me, being out in the real world, synchronization software is a very, very important concept, and it will really save your butt. So generally, all synchronization software does is it copies data from the source to the destination. Again, why synchronization software works a lot better than the normal Windows copy-paste command is because in Windows, if you do a copy-paste or a cut-paste command and then something happens in the middle, then you run into all kinds of problems. Not only that, but in the Windows world, if you do copy, paste, cut, paste, you can move files from the hard drive to a flash drive, from the hard drive to a network share, but that's about it. You're kind of stuck in the Windows world. With synchronization software, one of the nice parts about most synchronization software out there is you can move data between different types of storage. So not only can you move the data from the hard drive to a flash drive, but you can move the data from the hard drive to FTP. You can move the data from the hard drive to Amazon's S3 cloud storage. You have a lot more options about where you can move data to and where you can pull data from. Again, the biggest part though with the synchronization software is it simply will not fail out when it runs into a problem copying and pasting a lot of files. Again, when I ran the computer shop, a lot of times we'd have to do wipe and reloads on clients' computers. So when we're copying files off of their hard drives, it literally may be thousands and thousands and thousands of files, especially now that everybody has pictures. Everybody's out there with their digital cameras taking millions and millions of pictures. Well, those are each individual files, which means literally you may have 20, 30, 100,000 individual files you have to move on just the average consumer's computer. So we're not even talking about a major file server. Now when you're looking at synchronization software, there's a whole bunch of options. We're going to do a demonstration in a minute, and I'm going to use a piece of software called muCommander. The reason I use muCommander is that it's completely free. and works very, very well. But there's a lot of different synchronization software out there. So there's muCommander, I think there's Ultimate Commander, there's something called Always Sync. Basically, once you get the idea of what the synchronization software is, you can go out and take a look and see what you like to use. Again, anytime I show you specific software in a demonstration, realize that's not going to be your only options out there. You know, muCommander is completely free, so it's a little bit limited. Some of the synchronization software out there might cost you $30, but it has more options to it. So classes like this, again, remember, these are kind of academic, philosophical. I will show you an actual product, but if muCommander doesn't do exactly what you need done, go out there and take a look, Google search, and see what all the different synchronization software is out there, because there might be something that will work for you. So what we're going to be using is something called muCommander. Again, it is completely free. It's under the GPL, so you can use it for free, not only for consumer use but also for business use. I use muCommander a lot, again, for data recovery procedures. So I go into a client's office and I need to pull all their data out of their profile folder. So if they're migrating from one computer to another computer, I need to make sure I pull all of that data. It's very important, especially when I go out and I'm billing hourly. Remember, my billable hours right now, it's $125 an hour. And it's a minimum of a 1 hour charge. So when I go out and I transfer data for a migration, you know, it's going to be a $300 to $400 job for an individual computer. They don't want me to have to come out another time if one file or one folder is missed. So what I do is I go in with muCommander, I do a synchronization of the entire profile folder over to my little external hard drive, and then anything else that I see that might be relevant, and then I migrate all that data over to their new computer, and I make sure that I have everything. That's why synchronization is so important, especially for me. So basically all synchronization software does is it moves files and folders from one location to another. The good thing with the synchronization software is you can move to many different types of storage, not just an external hard drive or a flash drive or a network share, but again, you can move it to an FTP server, Amazon S3, etc. So this is the basic concept of what synchronization software is and why it's important for you. So now that you understand why synchronization software is important and why you will be using it, I want to give you a brief demonstration, again using this piece of software called muCommander. I use this software a lot. It's my main piece of software I use for synchronization, and if I show you how it works, I think it'll give you a better idea of what we're doing with synchronization. So let's go on to the computer and I'll show you how muCommander works for this file synchronization. So here we are at my Windows 7 computer, and I've opened up the website for where you're going to download muCommander from. So you just go to www.mucommander.com. This is free software, as in free beer, so you can use it as much as you want for completely free in business and in residential, etc., etc., etc. If you look down here, it says free software under the GPL license. As always, they're going to give you a whole bunch of information about what the software can do. But what we're looking for right now is a place to download the software from. So if you scroll down, you will see all the different operating systems that muCommander can run under. So they have a Mac OS X version, a Windows version, an Ubuntu version, a Web Start version. So this Web Start, you can actually embed the software into a website and run it directly from a website. They have other Linux versions, and they have a portable version. So the portable version means that you can simply copy the file onto a thumb drive and take that thumb drive around. You don't even have to install the software onto the computer to make it run. So
Downloading and installing the software is very easy. You just go and you click on whatever version you want and you download it and install it. The reason, or one of the reasons that I like muCommander so much is, as I talk to you guys a lot about, is I like standardization. I like finding one piece of software and basically sticking with it. Well, that's the nice thing with muCommander. Again, there's Mac, there's Windows, there's Ubuntu, there's web, blah, blah, blah. If you decide you like muCommander, then you can use it on just about any operating system that you're going to run into. So once you've downloaded it and you've installed it, you're going to have a nice little icon. Looks like two little jelly beans. So all you're going to do is you're going to double click to open muCommander. And then this is what you're going to see. So basically you have two windows. You're going to synchronize between the windows. It actually doesn't really matter which way you go. If you like to go and move stuff from right to left, you can do that, or you can move stuff from left to right. The main thing is one window is for where the information, the data is coming from, and the other window is where the data is going to. So what I'm going to do now, just to show you how this works, is I want to transfer my user folder, so my user profile folder, over to another hard drive I have on this computer. So the first thing that I will do is I'll click on this folder button here. I'll go to C drive. I'll go down to users. And then right now I'm just going to highlight the user folder. So this is the folder that I want to transfer over. A lot of times when you're doing data recovery, the issue is that you want to transfer all the user's files off the computer, but many times stupid little files that don't matter clog up the works. So INI files, those type of things, for whatever reason, will not transfer off the computer. And if you try to copy and paste or cut and paste, the Windows process will stop whenever it hits one of those files that it can't move. So this way, I'll just be able to move this entire folder over to the destination drive. Now, if I click up on this little box here, we can see all the places that I can move the data to. So we have the C drive, I have a backup drive on the computer, I have another backup drive on the computer. If I had a flash drive plugged into this computer, I would see that flash drive or that external hard drive. We can also go down and we can transfer to network folders. So we could select like FTP. So if I wanted to transfer this data to an FTP server, I could do that here. I plug in the server name, username, password, directory, port, all of this information. If I had an HDFS server, I could do that. HTTP server, NFS, Amazon S3. So if you're looking to be able to move your data up onto Amazon's web services, their simple storage solution, you could do that here. Secure FTP or SMB. There's all these different options. So not only can you move to another hard drive, but you can also move to a network storage device, whether just a local file share or FTP. Like I say, you could blast this up to an FTP site you have on the web or an S3 site you have on the web. Right now, though, we'll just keep it with the F drive, and all you have to do is basically you just drag and drop this folder to where you want it to go. And now you will see the transfer happening. Now with this, you get a little chart so you can see how fast things are going. It's really not that fast, but it's okay. Um, but you will get these errors. So these errors here are what normally cause problems when you're trying to copy or cut and paste in the Windows world. If you got this arrow in the Windows world, basically the game's over. It will simply stop copying or transferring files. With synchronization software, I can simply do skip all, and now it will continue transferring all the files. So it'll skip the files that it can't transfer, but it will continue transferring the files that it can. And then it just keeps trucking along. So right now we can see that transferring files at 28 megabytes per second. So we can see the elapsed time, we can see the current speed. If you're on the network, you could check the speed limit, and you could actually give it a speed limit. So this is called bandwidth throttling. So if you're trying to upload these files to an FTP server or through the S3 server, Again, you would be able to do that. Now with this, I just want to be able to stop, so I can just click this stop button, and now it is stopped. If I double click here, I can see what has been transferred so far. So that's really all there is to muCommander for file synchronization. Like I say, the power of it is it seems horribly stupidly simple until you get into the real world and until you're having problems. Again, if you try to copy or cut and paste the normal Windows way, most of the time the process will fail out if you have a lot of files, and it's just a really horrible pain in the butt. By using synchronization software like this, you're able to move files and folders, and if there's a problem, you can simply skip over those files and folders and come back to it later. So that's really all there is to muCommander. So with that, let's go back out to the real world for some final thoughts.
And so that's all there is to using synchronization software to easily move files and folders. Again, if you're new, I know some of my fans out there, you guys are kind of young and maybe you haven't moved files and folders around too much, so you don't think it's that big a deal. Believe me, once you get into a production environment, moving files and folders around becomes the most tediously horrible task that you're going to run into. It really is, until you start using things like this muCommander I showed you. It can be absolutely ungodly horrible. So I showed you how to use muCommander, how to move files from from the destination to the target. It's pretty simple. Again, this is one piece of software out there. I like it because it's free and the license allows you to use it in a commercial environment, but there are other synchronization software options out there. Some of them cost up to $30. But they have some pretty cool features. The one warning that I will give you with this synchronization software is, remember, the speed of the transfer is limited by the medium you're transferring from to. What I mean by this is, so not that long ago, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was doing a migration from a god-awful old computer to a brand spanking new Windows 7 system. So this old computer really was like the 2000-2001 vintage era. It was one of the first systems to come out with Windows XP. The problem with that is that it had USB 1 connection to it. So USB 1 is limited to 12 megabit per second. Well, I had to migrate all of their data from that computer to my external hard drive, from my external hard drive to the new Windows 7 computer. To show you the disparity in speed, it literally took 3 hours to transfer the data off of that god-awful old computer onto the hard drive. Then to transfer the information from that hard drive onto the brand new computer took 10 minutes. So I'm not sure what the multiple is. But basically the old computer took 3 hours to transfer the data off of it. It took only 10 minutes to transfer all that data onto the new computer. Again, I am not shy or bashful about what I charge. I bill $125 an hour. They got billed about $500 for that migration. That's me. They understood what they were getting into. They hire Eli, the computer guy. But be careful if you're going in and you're going to use this synchronization software to do a migration at your client site and you're billing hourly. Again, you may be using your brand new Windows 7 computer and you may think the synchronization software is really, really fast. And on a brand new Windows 7 computer, it will be really, really fast. But if you're migrating data off of some 10-year-old computer, it can be really slow. And it can make the bill that the client is going to pay go way up. Or if you're just a normal employee and you're in an employee environment, the process that you thought was going to take 1 hour may end up taking 4 hours. If you're working at the CEO's desk and you're working at his computer, the difference between 1 hour of work and 4 hours of work is whether he's a little irritated or whether, you know, he's blowing steam out of his ears and he wants to strangle you. So just keep this in mind. Again, with a lot of these classes, I talk about client expectations, setting client expectations. Make sure you set the client expectations when you're using the synchronization software. New computers, you're going to be able to push and pull data really, really quickly. If you're migrating from god-awful 10-year-old, 11-year-old computers, again, 3 hours to transfer the data from that old computer to the hard drive, only 10 minutes to put it onto the new Windows 7 computer. Again, that's the real world. Take it for what you take it for. So as you know, I'm Eli the Computer Guy over here for EliTheComputerGuy.com and EverymanIT.com. Again, this class was using synchronization software to easily move files and folders. As always, I enjoy teaching this class and I look forward to seeing you at the next one.